Assalamu alaikum everybody. Today we'll be reading Surah 50 through 54. Surah 50, Qaf. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, Qaf. By the glorious Quran, you are God's apostle. But they wonder that there has come to them a wonderful among themselves. So the unbelievers say, this is a wonderful thing. What, when we die and become dust, shall we live again? That is a sort of return far from our understanding. We already know how much of them the earth takes away. With us is a record guarding the full account. But they deny the truth when it comes to them, so they are in a confused state. Do they not look at the sky above them, how we have made it and adorned it, and there are no flaws in it? And the earth, we have spread it out and set therein mountains standing firm, and produced therein every kind of beautiful growth in pairs, to be observed and commemorated by every devotee turning to Allah. And we send down from the sky rain charged with blessing, and we produce therewith gardens and grain for harvests, and tall and stately palm trees with shoots of fruit stalks piled over one another, and sustenance for Allah's servants, and we give new life therewith to land that is dead. Thus will be the resurrection. Before them was denied the hereafter by the people of Noah, the companions of the Ras, the Thamud, and Ad, Pharaoh, the brethren of Lot, the companions of the wood, and the people of Tuah. Each one of them rejected the apostles, and my warning was duly fulfilled in them. Were we then weary of the first creation, that they should be in a confused doubt about a new creation? It was we who created man, and we know what dark suggestions his soul makes to him, for we are nearer to him than his jugular vein. Behold, two guardian angels appointed to learn his doings, learn and noted them, one sitting on the right and one on the left. Now the word does he utter, but there is a sentinel by him ready to note it, and the stupor of death will bring truth before his eyes. This is the thing which you are trying to escape. When the trumpet shall be blown, that will be the day whereof warning will be given. And there will come forth every soul, with each will be an angel to drive, and an angel to bear witness. It will be said, you are heedless of this now. Now we have removed your veil, and sharp is your sight this day. And his companion will say, here is his record ready with me. The sentence will be, throw both of you into hell, every continuous rejecter of Allah, who forbade what was good, transgressed all bounds, cast doubts and suspicions, who set up another God beside Allah. Throw him into a severe chastisement. His companion will say, our Lord, I did not make him transgress, but he was himself far astray. He will say, dispute not with each other in my presence. I had already in advance set you warning. The word changes not before me, and I do not the least injustice to my servants. That day we will ask hell, are you filled to the full? It will say, are there any more to come? And the garden will be brought near to the righteous, no more a thing distant. A voice will say, this is what was promised for you. For everyone who turned to Allah is sincere repentance, who kept his law, who feared Allah, most gracious unseen, and brought a heart turned in devotion to him. Enter you therein in peace and security. This is a day of eternal life. There will be for them therein all that they wish, and more besides in our presence. But how many generations before them did we destroy for their sins, stronger in power than they? Then they will wander through the lands. Was there any place of escape for them? Verily, in this is a message for any that has a heart and understanding, or who gives ear and earnestly witnesses the truth. We created the heavens and the earth and all between them in 6 days. Nor did any sense of weariness touch us. Bear then with patience all that they say, and celebrate the praises of your Lord, before the rising of the sun and before its setting, and during part of the night also, his praises, and so likewise after the postures of adoration. And listen for the day when the caller will call out from a quiet place near, the day that they will hear a mighty blast. In very truth, that will be the day of resurrection. Verily it is we who give life and death, and to us is the final goal. The day when the earth will be rent asunder from men hurrying out, that will be a gathering together. Quite easy for us. We know best what they say, and you are not one to overawe them by force. So admonish with the Quran as such as fear my warning. Surah 51, Az-Zariyat, the scattered winds. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, by the winds that scatter broadcast, and those that lift and bear away heavy weights, and those that flow with ease and gentleness, and those that distribute the operation by command. Verily that which you have promised is true, and verily judgment and justice must indeed come to pass. By the sky with its numerous paths, truly you are in doctrine discordant, though which are deluded away from the truth, such as would be deluded. Woe to the falsehood mongers, those who flounder heedless in a flood of confusion. They ask, when will be the day of judgment and justice? It will be a day when they will be tried and tested over the fire. Tease you your trial, this is what you used to ask, to be hastened. As to the righteous, they will be in the midst of gardens and springs, taking joy in the things which their Lord gives them, because before them they lived a good life. They were in the habit of sleeping but little by night, and in the hour of early dawn they were found praying for forgiveness. And in their wealth and possessions was remembered the right of the needy, him who asked and him who for some reason was prevented from asking. On the earth are signs for those of assured faith, as also in your own selves will you not see, and in heavens is your sustenance, as also that which you were promised. Then by the Lord of heaven and earth, this is the very truth, as much as the fact that you can speak intelligently to each other. Has the story reached you of the honored guests of Abraham? Behold, they entered his presence and said, Peace. He said, Peace, and thought they seem unusual people. Then he turned quickly to his household, brought out a fatted calf, and placed it before them. He said, Will you not eat? When they did not eat, he conceived a fear of them. They said, Fear not, and they gave him glad tidings of a son endowed with knowledge. But his wife came forward, laughing aloud. She smote her forehead and said, A barren old woman. They said, Even so has your Lord spoken, and he is full of wisdom and knowledge. Abraham said, And what, O ye messengers, is your errand now? They said, We have sent to a people deep in sin, to bring them on a shower of stones of clay, brimstone, marked as from your Lord for those who trespass beyond bounds. Then we evacuated those of the believers who were there, but we found not there any just Muslim persons except in one house, and we left there a sign for such as fear the grievous chastisement. And in Moses was another sign, behold, we sent him to Pharaoh with authority manifest. But Pharaoh turned back with his chiefs and said, A sorcerer, or one possessed. So we took him and his forces and threw them into the sea, and his was the cursed. And in the Ad people was another sign. Behold, we sent against them the devastating wind. It left nothing whatever as it came up, and reduced it to ruin and rottenness. And in the Thamud was another sign. Behold, they were told, Enjoy your brief day for a little while. But they instantly defied the command of their Lord, so the stunning noise of an earthquake seized them, even while they were looking on. Then they could not even stand on their feet, nor could they help themselves. So were the people of Noah before them, for they wickedly transgressed. With power and skill did we build the firmament, for it is we who have the vast power, and we have spread out the spacious earth. How excellently we do spread it out, and of everything we have created pairs, that you may receive instruction. Then you hasten at once to Allah. I am from him a warner to you, clear and open. And make not another an object of worship with Allah. I am from him a warner to you, clear and open. Similarly, no apostle came to the prophets before them, but they said of him in like manner, a sorcerer or one possessed. Is this the legacy they have transmitted one to another? No, they are themselves a people transgressing beyond bounds. So turn away from them, no blame on you. But teach your message, for teaching benefits the believers. I have only created jinns and men, that they may serve me. No sustenance do I require of them, nor do I require that they should feed me. For Allah is He who gives all sustenance, Lord of power, steadfast forever. For the wrongdoers, their portion is like unto of their fellows of earlier generations. then let them not ask me to hasten that portion. Woe then to the unbelievers on account of that day of theirs which they have been promised. Surah 52, At-Tur, the mountain. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, by the mount of revelation, by a decree inscribed in a scroll unfolded, by the much frequented flame, by the copy raised high, and by the ocean filled with swell. Verily the doom of your Lord will indeed come to pass, there is none can avert it. On the day when the firmament will be dreadful commotion, and the mountains will fly hither and thither, then woe to those who treat truth as falsehood, that play and paddle and shallow trifles. That day shall they be thrust down to the field fire of hell irresistibly. This, it will be said, is the fire which you are wont to deny. Is this then a fake, or is it what you do not see? Burn you therein, the same is it to you whether you bear it with patience or not, that you receive the recompense of your own deeds. As to the righteous, they will be in gardens and in happiness, enjoying the bliss which their Lord has bestowed on them, and their Lord shall deliver them from the chastisement of the fire. To them will be said, Eat and drink you with good pleasure because of your good deeds. They will recline with ease on thrones of dignity arranged in ranks, and we shall join them in companions, with beautiful big lustrous eyes. And those who believe and whose families follow them in faith, to them shall we join their families, nor shall we deprive them of the fruit of any of their works. Yet is each individual in pledge for his deeds, and we shall bestow on them of fruit and meat anything they shall desire. They shall there exchange one with another a loving cup, free of frivolity, free of all taint of ill. Round about them will serve, devoted to them, youths handsome as pearls well guarded. They will advance to each other, engaging in mutual inquiry. They will say aforetime, We were not without fear for the sake of our people. But Allah has been good to us and has delivered us from the chastisement of the scorching wind. Truly we did call unto him from old. Truly it is he, the beneficent, the merciful. Therefore proclaim you the praises of your Lord, for by the grace of your Lord you are no vulgar soothsayer, nor are you unpossessed. Or do they say, a poet, we await for him some calamity hatched by time? Say, await you. I too will await along with you. Is it that their faculties of understanding urge them to this, or are they but a people transgressing beyond bounds? Or do they say, he fabricated the message? No, they have no faith. Let them then produce a recital unto it. It be they speak the truth. Were they created of nothing, or were they themselves the creators? Or did they create the heavens and the earth? No, they have no firm belief. Are the treasures of your Lord with them, or are they the managers of affairs? Or they have a ladder by which they can climb up to heaven and listen to its secrets? Then let such a listener of theirs produce a manifest proof. Or has he only daughters and you have sons? Or is it that you does ask for a reward, so that they are burdened with a load of debt? Or that the unseen is in their hands and they write it down? Or do they intend to plot against you? But those who defy Allah are themselves involved in a plot. Or have they a God other than Allah? Exalted is Allah far above the things they associate with him. Were they to see a piece of the sky falling on them, they would only say, Clouds gathered in heaps. So leave them alone until they encounter that day of theirs, wherein they shall first swoon with terror. The day when their plotting will avail them nothing, and no help shall be given to them. And verily for those who do wrong there is another punishment besides this. But most of them understand not. Now await in patience the command of your Lord, for verily you are in our eyes, and celebrate the praises of your Lord the while you stand forth. And for part of the night also praise you him, and at the retreat of the stars. Surah 53, An-Najm, the Star. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. By the star, when it goes down, your companion is neither astray nor being misled, nor does he say anything of his own desire. It is no less than inspiration sent down to him. He was taught by one mighty in power, endued with wisdom, for he appeared in stately form, while he was in the highest part of the horizon. Then he approached and came closer, and was at a distance of but 2 bow lengths, or even nearer. So did Allah convey the inspiration to his servant, conveyed what he meant to convey. The Prophet's mind and heart in no way falsified that which he saw. Will you then dispute with him concerning what he saw? For indeed you saw him at a second descent, near the lote tree beyond which none may pass. Near it is the garden of abode. Behold, the lote tree was shrouded in mystery unspeakable. His sight never swerved, nor did it go wrong, for truly did he see of the signs of his Lord the greatest. Have you seen Lat and Uzza, and another the third goddess Manat? What, for you the male sex, and for him the female? Behold, such would be indeed a division most unfair. These are nothing but names which you have devised, you and your father, for which Allah has sent down no authority whatever. They follow nothing but conjecture and what their own souls desire. Even though there has already come to them guidance from their Lord, no, shall man have just anything he hankers after. But it is to Allah that the end and the beginning of all things belongs. How many soever be the angels in the heavens, their intercession will avail nothing, except after Allah has given leave for whom he pleases, and that he is acceptable to him. Those who believe not in the hereafter name the angels with female names, but they have no knowledge therein. They follow nothing but conjecture, and conjecture avails nothing against truth. Therefore shun those who turn away from our message and desire nothing but the life of this world. That is as far as knowledge will reach them. Verily your Lord knows best those who stray from his path, and he knows best those who receive guidance. Yes, to Allah belongs all that is in the heavens and on earth, so that he rewards those who do evil according to their deeds, and he rewards those who do good with what is best. Those who avoid great sins and shameful deeds, only falling into small faults, verily your Lord is ample in forgiveness. He knows you well when he brings you out of the earth, and when you are hidden in your mother's wombs. Therefore justify not yourselves. He knows best who it is that guards against evil. Do you see one that turns back, gives a little, that hardens his heart? What he has knowledge of the unseen, so that he can see. No, he is not acquainted with what is in the book of Moses and of Abraham, who fulfilled his engagements, namely, that no bearer of burdens can bear the burden of another, that man can have nothing but what for he strives, that the fruit of his striving will soon come in sight. Then he will be rewarded with a reward complete. That to your Lord is the final goal. That is he who grants laughter and tears, that is he who grants death and life, that he did create in pairs, male and female, from a seed when lodged in its place, that he has promised a second creation, rising of the dead. That is he who gives wealth and satisfaction, that he is the Lord of Sirius, the mighty star, that he is who destroyed the powerful ancient Ad people, and the Thamud, nor gave them a lease of perpetual life. And before them the people of Noah, for that they were all most unjust and most insolent transgressors. And he destroyed the overthrown cities of Sodom and Gomorrah, so that ruins unknown have covered them up. Then which of the gifts of your Lord, O man, will you dispute about? This is a warner of the series of warners of old. The judgment ever approaching draws closer. No soul but Allah can lay it bare. And do you then wonder at this recital? And will you laugh and not weep, wasting your time in vanities, but fall down in prostration to Allah and adore him? Surah 54. Al-Qamar, the moon. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, the hour of judgment is nigh, and the moon is cleft asunder. But if they see a sign, they turn away and say, this is but transient magic. They reject the warning and follow their own lusts, but every matter has its appointed time. There have already come to them such tidings as contain a deterrent, mature wisdom, but the preaching of warners profits them not. Therefore, O Prophet, turn away from them the day that the caller will call them to a terrible affair. They will come forth, their eyes humbled from their graves, torpid like locusts scattered abroad. Hastening with eyes transfixed towards the caller, hard is this day, the unbelievers will say. Before them the people of Noah rejected their apostle, they rejected our servant, and said, here is one possessed, and he was driven out. Then he called on his Lord, I am one overcome, do you then help me? So he opened the gates of heaven with water pouring forth, and he caused the earth to gush forth with springs, so the waters met and rose to the extent decreed. But we bore on him an ark made of broad planks and caulked with palm fiber. She floats under our eyes and care, a recompense to one who had been rejected with scorn. and we have left this as a sign for all time. Then is there any that will receive admonition? But how terrible was my chastisement and my warning! And we have indeed made the Quran easy to understand and remember. Then is there any that will receive admonition? The Ad people too rejected truth. Then how terrible was my chastisement and my warning! For we sent against them a furious wind on the day of a violent disaster, plucking at men as if they were roots of palm trees torn up from the ground. Yes, how terrible was my chastisement and my warning! But we have indeed made the Quran easy to understand and remember. When then there is any that will receive admonition. The Thamud also rejected their warners, for they said, "What a man, a solitary one from among ourselves! Shall we follow such a one? Truly should we be then straying in mind and mad. Is it that the message is sent to him of all people amongst us? No, he is a liar, an insolent one. Ah, they will know on the morrow which is the liar, the insolent one. For we will send the she-camel by way of trial for them. So watch them, O Salih, and possess yourself in patience, and tell them that the water is to be divided between them, each one's right to drink being brought forward by suitable turns." But they called to their companion, and he took a sword in hand and hamstrung her. Ah, how terrible was my chastisement and my warning! For we sent against them a single mighty blast, and they became like the dried stubble used by one who pens cattle, and we have indeed made the Quran easy to understand and remember. Then is there any that will receive admonition? The people of Lut rejected his warning. We sent against them a violent tornado with showers of stones which destroyed them, except Lut's household. Them we delivered by early dawn. As a grace from us, thus do we reward those who give thanks. And Lut did warn them of our punishment, but they disputed about the warning. And they even sought to snatch away his gifts from him, but we blinded their eyes. They heard, "Now taste you my wrath and my warning." Early on the morrow an abiding punishment seized them. So taste you my wrath and my warning. And we have indeed made the Quran easy to understand and remember. Then is there any that will receive admonition? To the people of Pharaoh too aforetime came warners from Allah. The people rejected all our signs, but we seized them with such chastisement as comes from one exalted in power, able to carry out his will. Are your unbelievers, O Quraysh, better than thee? Or have you an immunity to the sacred books? Or do they say, "We acting together can defend ourselves"? Soon will their multitude be put to flight, and they will show their backs. No, the hour of judgment is the time promised for them their full recompense, and the hour will be most grievous and most bitter. Truly those in sin are the ones straying in mind and mad. The day they will be dragged through the fire, on their faces they will hear, "Taste you the touch of hell." Verily all things be created in proportion and measure, and the command is but a single act, like a twinkling of the eye. And oft is the past, we have destroyed gangs like unto you, but is there any that will receive admonition? All that they do is noted in their books of deeds. Every matter, small and great, is on record. As to the righteous, they will be in the midst of gardens and rivers, in an assembly of truth, in the presence of the Sovereign Omnipotent. Thank you for listening to my video. Please like and subscribe.